3 months after my affair with my boss was exposed, my husband confronted me in the most devastating way imaginable. I never thought our marriage would end like this. 3 months earlier, my entire world had crumbled. My relationship with Greg, my boss, had escalated beyond office whispers. It had become a full-blown scandal. But nothing could have prepared me for the anguish of seeing Jason, my husband, uncover the truth. Jason had always been the embodiment of kindness, loyalty, and trust. And I had shattered that trust in the worst possible way. Back then, I felt like I was drifting through life on autopilot. I knew what I was doing was wrong, yet I justified my actions with weak excuses. I convinced myself I deserved the attention, the thrill, the excitement that Greg brought into my life. Jason and I had been married for 6 years. Our love had started out passionate, but over time the spark had faded. His career consumed him, and I often felt like an afterthought. I longed for connection, for validation, the kind Greg offered so effortlessly. At first, it was innocent. Late nights at the office, casual conversations in the break room. Greg was charismatic, confident, and attentive, things Jason no longer seemed to be. He listened when I vented, laughed at my jokes, and made me feel noticed. His attention was intoxicating, like fresh air after suffocating in routine. Before I knew it, our conversations had shifted from professional to deeply personal. One thing led to another, and soon we had crossed every line. The physical side of the affair was unlike anything I had experienced in years. Greg made me feel wanted, something I hadn't felt in my marriage for so long. But no matter how thrilling it was still a betrayal. Jason had always been there for me. He had loved me unconditionally. Deep down, I knew I was making a terrible mistake, but I kept convincing myself it was temporary, meaningless. Yet the truth loomed over me. I was playing with fire, and it was only a matter of time before everything burned to the ground. That fateful Monday, Jason had taken the day off work, unaware that I had made plans to meet Greg at a hotel, a routine we had fallen into. I never expected what came next. As I sat in the hotel room with Greg, the door suddenly slammed open. The sound was deafening, cutting through the air like a blade. My heart stopped. Jason's voice, raw with fury and disbelief, filled the room. "What the hell is this, Karen?" he bellowed. Froze. Greg sat across from me. His face drained of color, too stunned to react. Jason stood at the doorway, his usually calm demeanor replaced by seething rage. His eyes, once full of warmth, now burned with betrayal. "Jason," I stammered, barely able to form words. How could I explain? How could I justify the destruction I had caused? "You're really doing this?" His voice cracked. "Is this what you've been doing behind my back? Sleeping with him? My own wife with my boss?" I stood, but before I could say anything, Greg rushed past me, fleeing without a word. I didn't chase after him. Couldn't. I was frozen, paralyzed by the devastation unfolding before me. Jason's eyes locked onto mine, his voice cold and laced with agony. "I don't even know who you are anymore." His words sliced through me like a blade. "How could you do this to me, Karen? After everything?" Had no answer. There were no excuses left. No words could undo what I had done. I had broken him in a way that could never be repaired. That night Jason walked out. I stayed in the hotel room for hours, drowning in the weight of my own choices. This wasn't just a betrayal. It was the complete destruction of the life we had built. And now it was gone. The weeks that followed were unbearable. Jason barely spoke to me. I tried, desperately, to apologize, to explain, but he wanted nothing to do with me. He moved out, seeking refuge with a friend, while I was left to face the wreckage alone. The affair didn't just cost me my marriage. It dismantled my entire life. At work, the whispers spread like wildfire. I became a walking scandal, the woman who had let personal mistakes ruin everything. The judgment was relentless, but none of it compared to the pain of losing Jason. I could see how much he was hurting, and knowing I had caused that pain was unbearable. I missed him more than I could put into words, but I understood why he needed space. He was trying to process the unimaginable. 3 months passed. There was no reconciliation, no sign of healing. Our exchanges were brief, impersonal. His messages were cold, distant. The wounds I had inflicted had not even begun to heal. Then one evening Jason called. His voice was firm, unreadable. "We need to talk." My heart pounded. Maybe, just maybe, this was the moment we could start to repair the damage. We met at a quiet cafe. The moment I saw him, I knew something was different. He looked drained, worn down by the weight of it all. I wanted to reach out, to hold him, to beg for forgiveness. But I knew that wasn't why he was here. "You've had plenty of time to think," he said, his tone detached, controlled. "I've tried to be patient, but I can't keep pretending everything's fine. The trust is gone, Karen. You broke me. And I don't know if I can put myself back together." His words were a dagger to my heart. My voice trembled as I responded. "I know I hurt you, Jason. Can't undo it. But I never wanted to hurt you." He let out a bitter laugh, shaking his head. "You hurt me the moment you started lying. The moment you chose him over me." The weight of the tension was suffocating. Then, something happened that I never expected. Jason stood abruptly, and before I could react, he slapped me. The sharp sting radiated across my face, and the sound echoed in the quiet cafe. I gasped, eyes welling with tears. I searched his face for remorse, but there was none. His expression twisted with pain, yet he didn't flinch. "I don't think I can ever forgive you," he said, his voice raw. "And I don't know if I even want to try." Without another word, he turned and walked away, leaving me behind, alone, drowning in regret. That moment shattered me. The physical sting of the slap faded, but the emotional impact lingered. It was the final, irreversible confirmation that our marriage was beyond saving. Life moved on, but not in the way I had hoped. Jason eventually found someone new. Meanwhile, I tried to salvage the broken pieces of my life. The affair had cost me everything. My marriage, my dignity, my career. It taught me a brutal lesson. Some mistakes leave scars that never heal. And sometimes no apology, no matter how heartfelt, can undo the damage. Every single day I live with that truth.